Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast. Today we are speaking with Monique Derouen. Is that how you say your last name?
Derwin.
Derwin. Okay. I was doing so good. I think I've done like 5 or 6 episodes in a row where I didn't screw up somebody's last name. So, welcome to the show, Monique. She is a mind body coach and so much more. I am really excited to have you on the show and to hear all about the things that you're doing. So, tell us how you got started because it's an interesting journey, I'm sure.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Jill. It's a pleasure to be here. And those French names are a little bit tricky anyways, so no worries on my part. um, but short story. Um, Straight out of high school, I went to hair school and I had these big dreams to be a hairdresser, own my own place. So I bought a salon. I dug in. I was really good at this skill. And life started to happen. I had two babies very young. Uh, Finding that balance between work and life and being a mom became a big struggle. And my body began to take a little toll on me. So migraine started happening, carpal tunnel syndrome started popping up, frozen shoulder, old injuries from childhood where I had bicycle accidents and car wrecks. Just my body just kind of started doing these really weird things. And I was very young. I was a mom of two by the time I was 22 years old. So that tells you it doesn't seem like your body should fall apart that young. Um,
Right.
Fast forward a few years, I leave a very abusive relationship, um, head out of town, go to a different state, start raising my children alone, and the health problems just continued. It was kind of one diagnosis after the other. They started putting me on medication. I was hospitalized for different things like adrenal fatigue, which is very interesting on its own, but just really started seeing the toll that my life was taking on my body. The stress was really high, the anxiety was through the roof, and I was really struggling. So a few years later, I start trying to do things about this. I go get my yoga certificate and I become a yoga teacher and I am getting all these other certifications in the spa. I have a really great corporate spa job and they're taking care of me. They're doing a really great job. And I got a nail tech license and an esthetician license and a massage therapy license and just kind of kept adding to my resume and thinking that these different modalities would help my body feel better. I was certain it was the job. I really didn't understand stress and the mind body connection at that time. Um, and there was a moment where I just started feeling really bad, like I didn't want to get out of bed. I was on 9 medications. I had multiple surgeries, and this was in my early 30s by this time. So timeline wise, my body was falling apart. I was struggling with all these things, and I was like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something different out there. Um, which is where I went into massage therapy school. And I thought that if I could learn to work on my body through working on other people's body, because I was really good at helping other people feel better, but I couldn't make myself
Mhm.
feel better. So I had this kind of idea that if I could help them feel better and I could learn what those things were, then I could use it for myself. But what happened was much different. Um, I went to school. I had an amazing teacher. She actually wrote the massage therapy books. She was brilliant. And I fell in love with the nervous system. I fell in love with the brain. And I started understanding the way the brain really protected the body, activated all the things in the body, how the body was like this own natural pharmacy. Like if you cut your hand, your skin grows back. You break a bone, your bone grows back together. Your body knows how to digest food and create saliva and all of these little things. And I had already heard about mind body, but I didn't really understand it in a way that I could use it in my favor. And it kind of brought all the pieces together. So I have all this knowledge, I have all this information, but I don't know what to do with it. Right. So um, I'm really interested in helping people heal. I'm really interested in helping myself heal. I was seeing little glimmers, little moments where I was starting to feel better, but nothing really long term. And I eventually went into a coach training program, a mind body coaching program, and got the meat and potatoes of everything that I had been missing. I started to begin to see the integration that I wasn't seeing before. And kind of weaving in all these little parts that created this whole picture for me of what the how actually was, how to physically heal the body with the nervous system, with the brain, with these techniques that I'd seen and heard about, but I couldn't actually do.
That is fascinating. It's so amazing how much trauma gets trapped in our body and causes all of these problems. And being able to have the tools to like dig it out, that's like so important. Um, so you were suffering from chronic pain and you were able to overcome that?
Yes, yes. I have about a 20-year chronic pain journey
Mhm.
where my physical body was just inflamed. There were days that I couldn't close my hands. There were days that it was hard to walk. Um, I had to buy special shoes. I had all these tools to kind of support my life. I traveled with a bag that had like heating pads and ice packs and icy hot and lidocaine patches and all the things that could make me more comfortable. And then eventually I just quit doing stuff and I started to isolate and depression kind of started to set in, which brought me down a whole different rabbit hole. But um, it was hard. It was hard to go places. My digestive system was really crazy for a couple of years. So, I was nervous about being out in public. And being young and wanting to get out and have fun and bring my kids places and enjoy life with my friends. There was so much disruption. Um, so I just kind of turned in and I isolated and I just did the self-soothing however I could. Um, but I started really missing out on the things I wanted to do.
But what do you think that all of these things started happening to you?
Yeah. So, what we know with trauma, and I'm a trauma specialist at this point. I have an expertise in that field. But what we know with trauma is things happen when we're very young. And it doesn't have to be something big. It could be grandma ran out of chocolate chip cookies. It could be I was told to quit tap dancing in the house. Um, and these moments create what we call an imprint in our nervous system. And then years later, something happens, maybe in high school or at really young adults. And it kind of feels like the time when grandma said there was no cookies and I didn't get what I wanted. Or I was told to stop tap dancing and that's the only thing that brought me fun. So I couldn't have fun. I couldn't enjoy life, right? And then later on, again, something else happens in adulthood. And we believe that because we're not 5 years old anymore, that it shouldn't bother us. But the body remembers what the mind does not. And the perception of the event might be distorted, might be confused. And so the body kind of just takes on these little things and it becomes like a storage locker. And about 35 to 45, most people go through what we consider a midlife crisis. They think their bodies break down. They begin to have a lot of back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, sciatica, migraines, gut health issues, allergies to foods that they've never been allergic to. And I'm going to speak from a mind body perspective that this is the storage locker that's full. And this energy and this information has to go somewhere. So it manifests in the physical body as illness and dis-ease, D-I-S dash lack of ease, dis-ease. And these symptoms start to occur. And so the body is creating what the mind and the emotions have never been allowed to move through, process, understand, be validated with. But there is a way to change it.
Share that with us.
Yeah, yeah.
On
So
edge of the seat.
yeah. That's what I realized through all of this journey was My body was remembering things and holding on to these things. And my brain was giving me these signals and these messages. And my body was feeling what my brain was telling me, but it didn't really make sense. And it's really hard to see your own unconscious. And we definitely can't see our subconscious. So, as a massage therapist, I'm touching the body and I'm manipulating the skin. And I touch a knee, and my client tells me a story about her son. And I touch the back of the neck, and my client tells me a story about her brother. And I touch the elbow, and she's telling me about her husband. Like, these are all different people. And I'm kind of noticing this over time. Like, the same stories kind of popped up in the same spaces.
Hmm.
Now, what do we know about the shoulders, right?
Carry
Sometimes
the weight of the
we're heavy,
world.
carry the weight of the world. Exactly. The back, the low back is financial responsibility, not feeling supported, uh, fear of moving forward in life. The neck, who's being a pain in my neck? Where am I not being flexible? My hands with carpal tunnel, right? I had carpal tunnel syndrome in both hands. Fascinating story, really long, so we won't get into that. But what was I scared to let go of? What was I gripping onto? What was I holding on for dear life for? Right? These ideas, these ideals, for lack of a better word, these beliefs and concepts, you know, what I was taught by society and generational patterns and religion and all the things, right? And then it doesn't really feel correct to me. So I have a lot of dissonance, and I'm gripping at things, like trying to understand, trying to figure it out, trying to let go, trying to hold on. So my hands go, okay, we'll let you have it. Cool, we'll just shut you down. Now you're going to go rest. You're going to self care. You're going to take care of yourself. You're going to go to the hospital. You're going to get a little vacation in the hospital. They'll take care of you.
Fascinating. I've had carpal tunnel syndrome at different times in my life. When I was young, I was a secretary, and we did a lot of typing. It was before the computers were a thing. And um, it's mostly gone, because when you're talking about hanging on to stuff and letting stuff go, I remember at the time all the things that were happening in my life, and I really was just like trying to hang on to stuff to keep everything going. Um, and I've reached a point, as I reached the point in life where, just let it go, the carpal tunnel went away. And I have not had that problem since. And I didn't have surgery. So that's so fascinating. And you talk about neck pain and frozen shoulders and all these things that, I've had these experiences too. And I can think back, and it's like, yep, yep, check. That, those were the same things. So interesting how we can look at our bodies and how intricate our bodies are, and how many messages they're trying to get through to us, but we just haven't been taught how to listen. And I like that you actually can help people listen to their bodies and get that message and get healing.
Yeah, it is a really fascinating career. And I love it because, just like you said, when you change the pattern in behavior, the pain doesn't have to bother you. It doesn't have to be there anymore. But it is a warning signal. It's like, Jill, what are you holding on to? Right? But we weren't taught that. We weren't taught to decipher these messages or understand them. We were taught to alleviate the symptom, get rid of the pain. So here comes out the icy hot, here comes out the injection, here comes out the medication, whatever it is. But we're not getting to the root cause of what actually created the pain. And if we can get to the root cause and we can begin to change the way that you're doing life, your body knows what to do. It is brilliant. It is magnificent. It makes its own pharmacy. It has an intelligence far beyond what our logical brain can understand. And if you do what's correct for your body, illness and disease do not come up. And if something does happen, you heal so fast. I've seen clients that struggled with ailments for years and years and years, and then went a long time, they did really well, and then all of a sudden, like, there's some grief or some trauma or something that happens and something's triggered. But within a few days, they're back into momentum again, back into rotation. So the idea is that you're not ever going to not get sick or never have pain, or we're human. We're in these meat suits, we're going to end this experience, and there are things that are going to create some discomfort for us in life. But when you have the tools and the resources and the understanding and you have it, like once you have it, you don't lose it. It's always there. And so being able to activate that awareness whenever you need in real time, no matter what's going on in the universe or the society or in your house, like it's fascinating the ability that we have to change the way we feel and create a different outcome for ourselves.
A lot of it starts just in your head, the things that you're thinking about, because those create your emotions. Your thoughts create your emotions, and emotions actually trigger chemical responses in your body, and your body starts doing stuff that you have no control over anything other than that thought that you allowed to do something to you. And just getting in getting in the habit, or learning how to control what we're thinking about, I think has a huge impact on our general health.
Yeah, oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, the thoughts are such a big deal. The problem is most people don't know that they're just thoughts. They actually believe that they're truth. And when you believe something, it's a different vibration than a thought, right? But absolutely, the emotions are triggered, the chemical responses, the neurotransmitters, all this stuff goes through the body, everything gets activated, and there's a reaction. Very seldom have we been taught to respond to things, right? So that reaction then gives us something. It gives us this outcome or this result or this end game. And if we knew how to regulate thoughts and emotions, it would be much simpler. But most of us don't know how to do that, unfortunately.
Or yeah, for sure. Or take into consideration that you don't have to react to everything that goes through your head. You don't have to embrace it. You don't have to have a thought about it, because we do have thoughts about our thoughts. It's like, oh, this thing, or something will trigger us and start the loop. This is always happening, or this never happens, or this person is this way, or it's just like, you can it's okay to just let it go,
Yeah,
to give
yeah,
yourself that permission. But so few of us are really able to do that on a regular basis without having somebody help us to figure out how to do it consistently.
yeah. I would have never been able to do this work on my own. I would have probably gotten really far. I'm super smart. Like I really believe that I'm smart. I have a ton of knowledge, explicit and implicit. Um, but I can't see my own unconscious. I can't see the mirror of what's actually going on, the projection, the reflection. Like I didn't have access to that. And I was not taught to feel emotions. As a child, and I'm not downing my parents, they didn't know any better, but they sent me to my room when I cried. They didn't want to hear my crying. If I started getting upset, it was don't be that loud. Go do that somewhere else. So these little tiny bodies are full of these emotions because we don't have a prefrontal cortex developed when we're young, right? So we're truly feelers who sometimes say words. We don't really know how to think, for lack of a better understanding. And so we're feeling things, but maybe we're not given permission to feel, or maybe it's not appropriate, or maybe even you should be ashamed you did that to your brother, or you took the last cookie or the toy or whatever it is, right? So we're taught what we're supposed to feel, what good girls and boys do. And it's
Whoever
not,
they are.
Yeah, yeah. It's not okay to express,
Mm.
and be heard. And so imagine again these things just kind of pushing back down into this little storage locker. And as the body grows and the things feel familiar, so we haven't really been taught how to feel emotions. In fact, I didn't even know that there were so many emotions. That little circle behind me, that's an emotion wheel. There's like hundreds of emotions. I was like, you mean like happy or angry? Like that's what I knew. And I don't even know what it felt like to be happy. I had moments where I remember being a child and like, oh, that was happy. I think that was happy. That was fun. But I couldn't tell you how it felt. I couldn't describe what was actually going on. But anger, I knew anger. I knew mad because that's how I got attention. When I would get mad, I would react and everybody would get quiet or they would come see about me. Right. And so again, these neural pathways are created there. These roadmaps are created to like, this is what you do to get attention. This is what you do when you need something. And so that reactive state that a lot of people have, I've worked with a lot of clients that have really similar stories. Um, so yeah, I wish it was as easy to just flip the switch in the brain and just, we're not going to do this anymore, and we're going to change these patterns, and life's going to be easy. But the reality is it's really hard to do on your own, and it's really hard to do when you've had no concept or understanding of it, or you can't even see it. So um, having someone to help guide me and hold that space in a really safe space, because I was angry and I was hurt and I was traumatized. And so I didn't trust a lot of people. And I didn't really believe people when they said they were going to help, because I had all this evidence from these other things that I had done over the years that really didn't help me get where I wanted to get. Um, so that was a big deal for me, was just to have that support in a different way that I had never been given before.
And you help people with this, but you help them both online and you also have a, a special massage technique that you use for in person. You're not sure about how both of those things look?
Correct. Yeah, so I have a practice online, so I can help people across the world. Doesn't matter what country you're in. I have people in Korea and Ireland and Norway and all over the world, as well as in the States. But in person, I have a couple things that I do here. One, I have a retreat center. I came to Colorado in 2018, and we were looking for a perfect piece of property because I wanted to have a place where people could come in person and spend time with me. If they wanted to come spend a week, if they wanted to come as a group. So I offer in person retreats where I do all of this work through a few days in person, which is very powerful. But my local people can just come get on my table. So, as a massage therapist and a craniosacral therapist and a somatic trauma specialist, I've pulled the best things from all my trainings, all my certifications, and I've made a blend of a nervous system massage that's basically designed to put the body back into alignment. So, when the body is balanced, when the mind and the heart are being friends, life is easy, things go on. So, I have physical techniques that I do. I have practices that I am trained in. Um, but it was the integration of all the information together that made it my signature. So, doing the coaching with the mind body work, with the physical work, can also be done here in person, where I put my hands on you, move the tissue around, we talk about what's going on in your body. It is a magical experience. Like, I had similar work done to me for years, and I understand the benefit of it. And I take a handful of clients at a time, and we go through a series where we work together for so many weeks. And then they kind of graduate and go into my membership or a different opportunity if they need it. And then I take another set of people and I kind of do the same thing like that. So,
That's and that's online or that's in person?
both ways. So if you're local and you want to get on the table, you can definitely get it on my table. That is the massage where I incorporate the physical body work with the mind body coaching. Online, I work with people usually for about 6 months. Some of my clients have been with me for years because we just keep moving through stuff and they've had such great results. But some people don't need that much time. So usually 6 month minimum is my requirement. We connect, we meet every week on the computer. I help you undo the patterns that have created the pain points and then integrate a new way. And then I have multiple ways to work with me online. So no matter what situation you're in, there's usually a fit in one of the three ways that I work online as well.
Perfect. So how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah. You can go to YouTube. It's Monique the Mind Body Coach. Most of my social media handles are Monique the Mind Body Coach. Um, you can look me up on Facebook that way, Instagram that way, YouTube that way. My YouTube channel is complimentary. There's tons of resources, information about this. If you just want to hear a little bit more, there's a form on there. You can contact me. You can connect with me. We can do a consultation. I have a symptom tracker if you want to track your symptoms and see if this work could help you. So don't hesitate to reach out. This is all I do. I only work with humans who want to heal physical pain in their body and move through past trauma. Um, so it's an opportunity to connect, get some information, get some support, and if we're a good fit, we might do some work together.
I'm sure you have a ton of resources too for people that just are interested in what you're doing. So what's the one thing you want to leave the audience with today?
Yeah. Um, the one thing that I would like to share is that I know this is a hard journey, but healing is absolutely available. Your body knows exactly what to do. And it is our mind that gets in the way. Our mind is always trying to defend and protect. And so the mind can't solve the mind's problems. So doing this on your own is really difficult. But if you have the support of someone or a community that understands this work and has gone through their own transformation and has the experience, um, it is available. And so I always say healing's a choice. And I know that's hard to hear, but we do have opportunity that's out there that we might have never been exposed to. And so be willing to be curious, be willing to ask some questions. Throw away what you think you know about healing because it is what we've been taught up to this point, and there's so much out there that we've not seen or heard. And as I began to really see those things and understand and acknowledge, not just know, but live it, everything began to evolve. And I I can't even say how grateful I am to live in this bodysuit now and to do life. To go from being really young and being in chronic pain to being into my 40s and being able to do things that my body could never do before is fast. It's a miracle. Like it feels like a miracle, but it's actually mind body work. And it is available for anyone that needs the help. So feel free to reach out, connect, ask questions. Just get curious.
Yeah, getting curious. That's kind of the key to all of this stuff. And it's so nice that we don't have to depend on the old institutions that didn't really solve the problem or wouldn't give us answers to why we were experiencing the chronic pain. That people can come to someone like you and find answers and find healing. Healing is really it's what we all want. We don't want to just mask the symptoms. We want to be better.
Yeah. I believe that everybody wants to feel good. Like, I believe that as humans, we want to feel good. And so, if we can feel good, we do different, we live different, and everything looks different around you. So I see things now that I could never see before. And I'm so appreciative of this work to have this integration available for myself and to be able to help others now.
And it's changing the world because you make one person feel better and they make the people around them feel better because they're not hurting anymore, and it just ripples out and the world becomes a much better place.
Yeah, we're doing it one body at a time.
One body at a time.
But it is what I do and it's what I love. And I'm honored. I'm truly honored to be a part of this work at this point in time. So
That's great. Thanks, Monique, for joining us today.
thanks so much, Jill.